If you're new here, welcome. This is lesson 7 in my Excel for Beginners series. Up until now, we have been building your foundation. Today, Excel starts working for you. In this lesson, you'll learn 3 powerful formulas: the sum formula, the average, and the count. These 3 functions are used in almost every office job. Today you will write your first Excel formula and it is much easier than you think. All you need to start using is one symbol, the equals sign. What is formula in the first place? A formula is an instruction you give Excel to calculate something, and every formula in Excel must start with equals to. If it doesn't start with an equal sign, Excel thinks it's just text. That equal sign tells Excel, get ready, I'm about to calculate. So let's begin, and don't forget to download the practice dataset in the description box under this video. Before jumping into the sum, the average, and the count function that we are going to be working on today, I quickly want to show us simple math in Excel. And this is just to introduce the mathematical symbol to us, the addition, the subtraction, the multiplication, and the division. So this is the plus sign, addition, this is the subtraction, this asterisk here is the multiplication, and this backslash is the division. Now remember what I said, that before you sum anything up or perform any calculation on Excel, you need to start with your equal to sign. And then I'm not going to jump into sum now. I just want to show us how simple math work in Excel. Just come anywhere, just choose any cell you want, any one. And the first thing I want you to type right now is, okay, remember that in the description box, I put exactly this practice data sets. You might want to pause this video right now, download it, and start working with me on your laptop, and you can watch this video on your phone. So you can watch on your phone and then practice on your laptop. Now let's get right into it. The first thing is equal to, and then we just want to do addition. I will do 10 plus 10, and then the next thing you do is enter. When you enter, see, you have 20. So now we have done addition. The next thing we want to do right now is subtraction. So we're going to do 20 minus 10. And what are we going to do? Enter key. Then we have 10. Now we're going to go to multiplication. First thing you want to do is equal sign. Then you do 4. Just do random number. We are just testing the signs. Then we do asterisk, which represents our multiplication, the x, times 2. 4 times 2, enter key, we have 8. So we're going to move to the next one, which is division. So we're going to say equal to 8 divided by 2, and we have 4. Now these are simple math in Excel. We have used the plus, minus, multiplication, and division. So we're moving to the next one, cell referencing in our calculation. Now remember, if you watched my previous video, I mentioned something about cell referencing, and cell referencing are just these cells. And each of these cells, they have addresses. So we would like to reference them, because imagine we have large database. We can't keep saying 10 plus 10 plus 10. Imagine we have to do all of this and we start saying equal. We come here, we do equal to 65 plus 70, 75. Excel is not built to work manually. It's built to work like to help ease the work, like automation, like give it instruction and let it populate, the large database into the answer that I want or that we want. Now about the cell referencing, let's take for instance, we have, I don't even want us to go to the data set now. I just want to, touch base on simple ones so that you understand better. Now let's take for instance, this is I. Now I'm going to put 50 here, and I'm going to come to H. and I'm going to put 10 in my H. Now, the address of this 10 right now is H1. That is row 1, column H. So this is H1. Now, if we come here, this is what I1. If I bring my cursor down here, this will still be H, but row 2. So I can put 10 here. Now, instead of me to say, okay, if I get the question of, I need you to, let's take for instance, this person is John Mensah, and this person is Mary Johnson, and this is their score, right? And you want to know the addition of their score. Instead of coming down here and manually saying equal to, this plus this, let us use the address. There's more automation that is even better than what I'm about to show us now. Now, to do the cell referencing, this is what we are going to do. We're going to say equal to. Now, what am I adding? I want to add H. Just notice that if I successfully enter a correct cell address, we would see a changes. We'll see changes in my formula. Now, this is equal to H what? H1. Is it H1? Yeah, H1. Did you see that it automatically changed to blue, and it came here and highlighted it? Now, how do we sum? So if you want to sum, we can do it in 2 ways. So I can either say plus, if that is what I want to do. Then what is the second address of this? The second address is what? H2. So the H is the column and the 2 is the row. See? And then I pressed my enter. So I have my 20. 10 plus 10 will give us 20. I use my cell address. I reference my cell to be able to add this. Another way I can do this is to come here. Instead of the plus sign, I take it away and put my column. Still the same thing. Press the enter key. I have my 10. I have my 20 rather. So the next thing we're going to do now is the sum. Right now we're going to go into our data set. We'll go right into our data set. So this is the data set. We have the student name, the math, the English, the science, which is their score. Now, let's say we have John Mensah, who scored 65 in math, 70 in English, and 75 in science. And we want to get his total mark. Now, instead of doing equal to 65 plus 70 plus 75, just imagine we have, this is a university or score sheet. And in each class, we have over 1,000 students or 500. Imagine how many times we have to enter their score. There is bound to be error, right? And we already have inbuilt function in Excel that can locate this thing and give us the answers and even populate it far beyond, far beyond just one. It can populate 1,000 as a whole. So instead of that, this is what we are going to do. What we want to do now is sum. So we want to get the score of the total score of these students, John Mensah. And if I'm able to get John Mensah's score with this sum formula, I don't need to start entering other students' formula. as long as it is sum that I want. Once I solve for John Mensah, every other name on this list, I will be able to get their sum with just an enter key. So now we say equal to sum. Then we click on this. Make sure, I'm going to start again for the sake of, I don't want to rush into it. I'll say sum. So it will bring this list here. We want to ensure that we click on the sum. So once we click on it, ignore the number 1, the number 2, because we already know what we want to do, right? Because it's possible for us to do this, and that is our number 1, and then we do comma, and that is our number 2. But no, we are not trying to act manual. We are trying to play smart as far as Excel is concerned. So now, let me use the scenario of the cell referencing again, right? Now we know that John Mensah's score is in B ward B2, down towards D2. So we can choose to say, I want to sum from B2, then I put my column to D2. Make sure you put your bracket there to close the formula, and then you press your enter key. Let's come to our formula bar again to look at this. What did I just do? I did equal to sum. I clicked on the first list, the first sum I saw on my list, and then I addressed my cell by coming down to John Mensah and locating that the B2, where his score started, down to D2, where his score ended. And I was able to get his total score. And his total score populated others because of the enter key. If you use your calculator and add 80, 85, 90 together, you're going to get 255. So let's move down to average. Now, I would update this to the total score, which has solved this question here. So the next thing we want to do is the average. Now let's calculate the average, and it's just to note that these functions exist in Excel. Now to solve average, let's say we're trying to get the average score of maths. We want to know the average score of the total number of students. Like in this class, in this data set, according to the score, under the math, what is the average? So we come down here and say equal to, this is our average here. Remember, we can do this in different way. We can either come here and grab everything together. It will bring my B2 down to my B15. But for the sake of teaching slowly, after the average, I want to know the average of the math score. So I'm going to do B2. Then I'm going to do my column down to B15. Then you put your bracket, ensure that you close your formula and press the enter. So now the average score here is 74.14. This average now is a total of all of this score divided by the total number of counts For example, Excel would add 65 up until 84 together and divide it by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, I think divided by 14. Now, this answer came as a decimal number in 2, 3, in 5 decimal numbers. So we can decide to make it an whole number or reduce its decimal. For me, since I have 0.14, I'll just reduce the decimal and make it a whole number. How do I make this a whole number? I'll come right here. There's an arrow here. As I hover around it, you can see that it's saying increase decimal. As I come to the next one, it says decrease decimal. So I'm going to decrease until I get to my whole number. So the average score for math here in this class is 74. Now we have done our average. Now let's move to count. So back to average, average helps to find the middle value of your numbers, and is very useful for questions like the test scores, the sales performance, monthly income, employee performance. So instead of calculating them manually, you can just use the average functions, and Excel would just bring it to you in the most magical way. So now let's move to the counts. So for the counts, it's just to count how many numbers are in that range, or how many students did their maths tests, or how many students, or how many scores do we have here under the maths test or exam. Now, how do we go about this? So I'll just come down here where the English is. If you just remember your formula, that's just it. And don't forget, the first thing we do is an equal to sign. And then what are we trying to do? Count. So if you don't do the count A or count black, we are doing the blank itself. The count. So we're doing counts. So what do we want to count? We want to count how many students took the English test. One way to go about it is either to do your C from the C. I want to count from C2 down to my C2 down to C15. And then I close it, enter. There's a problem. What's the problem? One moment. Oh, you see, I didn't add C. I didn't add the column. C15. Then, so if you go ahead to count how many students took the test, is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. Then we have 14. This is very, very useful if you want to know how many students submitted scores, how many months have data, how many entries are recorded. And we're also able to get the total scores per student. Today you learn 3 formulas that professionals use every day: the sum, the average, and count. These are not just formulas, these are tools that help you make decisions from your data. Now you're no longer just entering numbers in Excel, you are analyzing them. Yes. In the next lesson, we'll go deeper and make your spreadsheet even smarter. So keep practicing. You're building real skills now. I'll see you in my lesson 8. Bye.